Welcome to Gooseberry's Science and Educational Videos. All right, today we're going to talk about a feeling, a really awful feeling, that I'm pretty sure every single one of us knows and hates.
Oh, you know the one I'm talking about, right? That stomach drop panic when you're patting your pockets and poof, your keys are gone. Or your wallet, your bag. It's just pure panic. And hey, even our little goose mascot here knows exactly what that's like. But what if, just what if, technology could pretty much erase that feeling for good?
Well, Apple sure thinks it has the answer. So let's dive right into their latest solution. We're talking about the second-generation AirTag. This thing is designed to be the ultimate high-tech fix for, being a little forgetful. So, what is this thing really? At its core, the AirTag 2 is just a tiny coin-shaped tracker. Simple, right? But its real magic, its superpower, comes from how it taps into Apple's massive Find My network. I mean, think about it. There are over 2 billion Apple devices out there. They all act like this giant anonymous search party, creating a worldwide net to help you pinpoint your lost stuff. Look, the first AirTag was already pretty cool, a real game changer for a lot of people. But this new version, it's packing some serious upgrades. So let's break down exactly what's new and, what's actually going to make a difference in your day-to-day life. Okay, this chart lays it all out perfectly. Just look at this. We're talking a brand new chip, way more range, you can even use it with your Apple Watch now, and the speaker is so much louder. But the craziest part? Check out that last row. The price hasn't changed. It's still just $29. That's kind of wild when you think about all the new tech they crammed in there.
All right, let's talk about this number, 4x. This is probably the single biggest upgrade, and it is a huge deal. This is all about precision finding. You know that super cool feature with the arrow on your screen that points you exactly where to go? Well, it now works up to 60 meters away. That's about 200 feet. I mean, that's the difference between finding your keys in the same room versus finding them all the way on the other side of the house or deep in the backyard. It's a total game changer.
Okay, the other big complaint about the first AirTag was the speaker. It was quiet. This chart really drives the point home. The original was around 66 decibels, which is basically just a normal conversation. Good luck hearing that when it's stuffed between your couch cushions, right? But the new one? It blasts out sound at around 86 decibels. To put that in perspective, that's getting close to a loud blender. You can see why our little goose is covering his ears. It's just a whole lot easier to hear.
And it's not just about the big, flashy upgrades. There are a ton of smaller, quality-of-life improvements that just make everything better. For starters, you can now use precision finding right on your Apple Watch. How convenient is that? Plus, there's this new thing where you can share your AirTag's location with airlines if they lose your bag. For privacy buffs, it swaps its Bluetooth ID even faster now. And maybe the best part? They stuck with the same cheap, easy-to-replace battery that lasts for over a year. That's a huge win for all of us.
Okay, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. We really need to switch gears here and talk about the dark side of this technology. There's a really serious concern that's been tied to these trackers from the very beginning, and that's how they can be misused for stalking. Yeah, this quote from Tom's guide, it really hits the nail on the head. See, the whole point of the speaker, from a safety standpoint, is to alert you if someone else's AirTag is traveling with you. It's your first line of defense. So what happens if a stalker can just turn that speaker off? Well, then it becomes exactly what you don't want it to be, a completely silent, secret tracking device.
And this is where it gets messy. On one side, you have reports saying Apple did try to make the speaker harder to tamper with, which is good. But then, the folks at iFixit, who are pros at taking things apart, did a teardown, and what they found is pretty concerning. The speaker is connected by just 2 little exposed wires. Apparently, with a simple soldering iron, someone could just break that connection, killing the sound completely. And there's no failsafe. The tracker just keeps on tracking silently. This is a huge point of debate, and frankly, it hasn't really been solved.
So, here we are. You've got these awesome new features on one side and these really serious safety questions on the other. It all boils down to one simple question. Should you actually buy one?
Let's try to make this easy for you. Think of it like this. First up, are you a new buyer? If you don't own any AirTags yet, then yeah, the AirTag 2 is a no-brainer. It's the best one you can get. Okay, but what if you already have the original ones? Well, the main tracking feature on that big Find My network is exactly the same, so there's no real rush to go out and replace them if they're still working. It really just comes down to whether those new upgrades matter to you. If you're constantly losing stuff in noisy places, or you really need that extra range, then yeah, the upgrade is probably worth it.
But wait, there's one last thing, and this is super important. We need to talk about compatibility. First off, to even use an AirTag 2, you're going to need an iPhone 11 or newer. But here's the real kicker, the part you really need to hear. To get that amazing 4x longer range, you have to have an iPhone 15 or newer. That's because you need the latest U2 chip inside. So if your iPhone is a bit older, the AirTag will still work, but you'll be stuck with the old, shorter range for precision finding. That is a huge detail to keep in mind before you spend your money.
And that really brings us to the final thought here. Look, there's no denying the AirTag 2 is a way more powerful, way more convenient tool for finding our lost stuff. But that whole debate about the safety flaw, it's still out there, it's not solved. So the question we're left with isn't really about the tech. It's about a trade-off. A tracker is great for finding what's lost, but you have to ask yourself, is the benefit really worth that potential risk?